Survivor time, guys. What's up? Katie, first comment to the broadcast on Periscope. Welcome to A Moment in Time with Taylor. If you don't know, I go live every single day, 7 days a week, for 3 hours a day on Periscope, which is like Twitter live. I also go live on YouTube from time to time. We are live on both Periscope and YouTube right now to do a recap of Survivor Season 40, Episode 6, Winners at War. The episode name is Quick on the Draw. So if you wouldn't mind subscribing and following, that would be great. You won't miss any more content. If you've been following this season and haven't been watching my recaps and you like this and you want to watch my recaps, they're all in my Survivor playlist right here on YouTube. So go ahead, check that out. The link to learn more about me, my website, everything is all in the profile. Big shout outs and thank you and appreciation to all of these people who support this channel and make this show possible. I forgot to add the person who supported right in our last broadcast where we were running evaluation on Planet Fitness stock. There we go. I think we can actually make these bigger too. I think that's good. All right, cool. Hi, Mike. Yes, Brent, I can see you. You're not ghosting. Hi, Steven. Hi, Hayden. Hi, Hillary. You didn't know? Wait, what didn't you know? What? Oh, that I go live? Oh, now you know, Hayden. Oh, hey, Mark. All right, guys, we are talking about a pretty big episode of Survivor. Last night, there was 2 tribal councils. 2 tribes went to tribal council, and that means there were 2 people voted off the island, 2 votes, 2 tribes have spoken, and it was very exciting. So let's get right into it. I hope that Michael shows up because I love talking about this stuff with her. Hey Noah, if you're a fellow Survivor fan, you want to comment what you think about anything that happened last night, please let me know. I do this every single week, so stay tuned if you're into this kind of thing. Yay! No ghosty! I would have rather you ghosted in this broadcast than the other one since you hate Survivor. Okay, Richard, sounds good. Hey, Wild Bill! Bill's in my private Periscope group. Hayden's in my private Periscope group. Brent is in my private Periscope group. Chip is in the private Periscope group. Rhodey, Hezo. I see a lot of people in the private group in here right now, so thanks for being here, guys. Hezo, how do you feel about about last night's episode? Jeff Probst is still the host. It is the 20th year anniversary of the show Survivor. It's the 40th season, and he is still the host. Your favorite people are getting voted off? Oh, Mike, yeah. Hezo's super mad because Hezo wanted one of the people that was voted off to win. I'm not going to do a spoiler just yet. If you guys spoil it in the chat, it's all good. I know most of you have probably already watched it anyway. But let's start in with what they started with. So they were kind of showing like the Sele tribe after voting Boston Rob off last week, that fun energy. They're like, oh, we're like a bunch of teenagers and our parents our parents went away and now we can have a big party. And it was like, all up into us. We can do whatever we want. Boston Rob's like overbearing presence and manipulation, and the Rob father is out of the way, out of the building, and now we can all play. So when the cat's away, the mice will play. And that's the energy you saw. The only interesting part of this, not super surprising, but relatively interesting, was that it was Ben and Adam from the previous tribe, the previous Sele tribe, and then Sophie and Sarah from the DeKal tribe. So they had the numbers, the Sele tribe had the numbers with Rob, but everyone wanted Rob gone, so now he's gone and now it's 2-2. However, Ben is getting along really well with, doing this the wrong way, with Sophie and Sarah. So he's getting along really well with the ladies. So Adam's on the bottom. Adam's feeling a little left out, and that was kind of the first vibe. Not only was Ben saying that he feels like both Sophie and Sarah are really great people, but also that he, gets along with them really well. He likes them a lot, and he's really warming up to them. Great. And Adam kind of said he was feeling that. It seems like Ben's gotten very close to these women very quickly, and whenever him and Ben are alone, Ben barely says a word to him. He feels very cut off, like they're not really connecting, which makes sense to me because Adam has a pretty interesting social style, and not everybody probably vibes with that so easily. So his social game might actually be a little bit weak this season, although he did win his season just fine. So interesting. Hey, Gary, you love Parv? Midnight hates the sweater. I know, I was going to say when I saw you, look, I'm wearing your favorite sweater. All right, he's with the emoji. All right, then we have the Edge of Extinction, which I was so happy to see the people over on Edge of Extinction because personally I love Natalie, but also I like to see the dynamic of what's going on with the Edge of Extinction now that they have their own challenges with the fire tokens. And last Edge of Extinction was kind of boring. They were always just sitting there not doing anything, just talking. It was a bunch of new people we didn't really know. We're really tied into all these characters, all these contestants this season because we know them all since they've all won previous seasons, and they didn't show any Edge of Extinction footage at all last week, so I was glad that Boston and Rob got voted out, but I wasn't really happy to not see anyone on Edge of Extinction, what was going on with them. So they gave us a good little chunk of Edge of Extinction tonight, which was great because Rob is now there with Amba, his wife, and he said Amba at one point, and I was like, Amba! I was so excited. It really made my day. And they got a clue on a log, which they were like, oh, I can't look at another log because of that challenge where they had to bring all the logs down. Ethan's like, now we have to bring them all back up. And everyone's like, no, too soon, man. No, not funny. But it wasn't that. It was that it said there's something hidden on the edge. It's all about being in the right place at the right time. Don't leave any stone unturned. The more stones you turn over, the better your chance of finding this advantage. So that's what happened. They all had a different idea of what that might mean. They're all flipping rocks over, looking at the rocks. Rob says, he said there's something. He said, is there a cliff here? And Amba said, yeah, up here. He's like, that's where it is, Amba. Let's go. Edge has a double meaning. It's hidden on the edge. So they're thinking it's on the edge of the cliff. So they're up on the top of the cliff looking around. Tyson has a different idea. He says, well, the only thing on the Edge of Extinction that has anything to do with time would be the tide, as the tide goes in and out. And I saw that on another season. What season was it where it wasn't Edge of Extinction, but they had that other island, Redemption Island, I think it was called, where it was like coconuts going in and out on the tide, and he had to go and find one of the coconuts floating in the water, and he did end up finding it. I feel like that might have been Wendell's episode. Or Wendell's season. The guy that Dominic? Was it Dominic? I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but it reminded me of that. Whenever there's some hint about time on Survivor, it does seem to have something to do with the tide. And Tyson was correct about that. So he was kind of under the cliff, on the edge of the cliff, but it was not the top edge. It was in the part of the cliff near the water where the tide is coming in, and he finds it. Well, while he finds it, Rob isn't too far away, and he's looking right at Tyson. So Tyson pretends like he has to pee. So he turns around, he's pretending to pee, and Rob's like, come on, Tyson, are you coming? He's like, hang on, I just have to pee. He's peeing. And then he kind of looks back, and he goes over and he grabs it, and he finds the clue. And, or actually, was it a clue, or was it just... Yeah, it wasn't a clue. It was the advantage, which I'll get to in a minute. But he said, well, I just have to point this out because I thought it was pretty funny, and Michael reminded me about this. Michael, yay, she's here. Oh, Chip, and oh my God, is that Ann? Thank you guys so much for the super hearts. Sorry, I try to spit one thought out at a time so I don't interrupt myself too much, but thank you. It's so good to see you. I'll read your comments in 1 second, but I just have to say, he grabbed the advantage, and so that no one would see it, and as quickly as he could, since he was pretending to pee, he put it into his man panties. And his face when he said it, he was like, so I grabbed it so quickly and I just shoved it right into my man panties. That was not a joke. That's what he calls them. Those are his man panties. Man panties. All right, Tyson, you're a weird dude, but we love you. You're very education. Manties? That sounds good to me. I like it. All right, hang on. Let me catch up on the comments a little bit here. You're a survivor right now in America? Yeah, anywhere in the world, I guess. Hey, Chloe, hi! I did another valuation earlier. I was thinking about you and how you like those. It's a nice sweater. Thank you. Thank you, Gary. Gary says survival shows I love. I thought you hated Survivor. Excuse me. Hi, Ann! If you guys don't follow Ann Kelly, Living Theosophy down there, probably the most positive, loving, genuine, authentic person you'll ever meet in your life. If you have the pleasure of meeting her, but even just on Periscope. So follow her 100%. How the more stones you turn over, the better chance help if T didn't have to turn over anything. I think it was more the fact that it was there was all those rocks there, so you would go there because there's all these rocks, and then also it was on the edge of the cliff. And maybe there was a rock on top of it at some point. I don't know. It's it's kind of hard to tell. Hi, Freddie. You can't call in on an OBS broadcast. Man panties. Manatee panties? Merce. A man purse. Oh my god, no, I must have missed that. I follow her. Yay! Oh, because she's hot? Sorry. Chip says that he only follows hot chicks, so that must mean you're a hot chick, Anne. Congratulations. I already knew that, but... I hate Survivor, but love survival shows, Bear Grylls. Okay, yeah. Survivor is like barely a survival show at this point, but it's fine. They don't need a lot, okay? Big concentration of rocks all together to lead them there. Yeah, I guess so. Manana hammock. Manana. Okay, so it ends up being an idol nullifier, which has no use on the edge of extinction, but that you can sell to someone in the game. Just like Natalie, how she earned her fire tokens by selling things. So it's like this this commerce that happens in this economy where on the edge of extinction they can sell items to the people that are still actively playing in the game in exchange for their fire tokens. So he decided to sell his idol nullifier to Parvati. Parvati took it up no problem because if you remember at the beginning of this episode, the two richest people on either island are Parvati and Natalie. They both had 4 fire tokens. So she's pretty wealthy. She hasn't had to use fire tokens for anything. Here's a chance to use one and to exchange it for something that has true solid value, which is an idol nullifier. Idol nullifiers, for me, are probably one of the weakest rewards or advantages that you can have in the game. You really have to play them perfectly. So the way it works is if somebody plays a hidden immunity idol, you can play the idol nullifier and it will cancel out their idol. But you have to play it, when you play it, you have to write the name of the person you want to play it against. So you have to know the person has an idol, and you have to know that they're going to play it that night and need to play it, because basically they have to also be getting votes. Like, right, so if they play their idol but nobody voted for them, you don't need to nullify their idol because they already wasted their idol because they didn't need it. So say we're all trying to vote out Boston Rob, and he has an idol, and we know he's going to play it. Well, if we have an idol nullifier, we can write Rob on our idol nullifier, put it there. Any idols that he plays, whether I think it's just any idols that he plays, but it could just be any idols played for him. I'm not totally clear on how that works, but people don't play idols for other people all that often, although we'll get to that. So if we had written Rob on there, then his idol would be canceled and it wouldn't work. So it's hard to use it. I've seen it used well, like maybe once, and it was really amazing that they pulled it off, but it's challenging. So Parvati is amazing at using idols, but it was tricky. It's a tricky one. But anyway, so she bought it. She bought it for 1. So Tyson has the one fire token. He goes right over to the price list to see what he can buy with the fire token. Now, what's interesting to me is that, well, there's a couple interesting things. One that I really liked was that they showed the price menu, because I haven't seen that in a while and I forgot what was on there. So I know you're shooketh, hey Bradley. So I know there's like beer and pizza and wine and hot dogs and hamburgers and stuff like that on there for luxury items that you can buy food, but there's and peanut butter, but there's also advantages to the challenge where you can get back into the game. So there's advantages where you can get back into the game, and there's also a hidden immunity idol. So a hidden immunity idol is 3 tokens, and an advantage is 1 token each. You can actually get up to 3 advantages. In one of my previous recaps, I had said I'm not sure if you can buy more than 1, how many you can buy, and what the advantages are, but you can buy up to 3 advantages. So I was able to think of 3 potential advantages. So, 2. I mean, the third one I'm still kind of thinking about. One advantage oftentimes is you automatically get to the last. So sometimes they do like elimination. So everyone's playing, and then it's the first 5 to get through the first section, and then it's from there, it's then the first 3 that finish the second section, and then it's the final 3 that compete in the third section of the challenge. So sometimes when you get an advantage like this, you get to fast forward and you're automatically in the final 3. You don't even have to compete in the first 2 legs of the challenge, which means you conserve your energy, and also it doesn't matter if you messed any of that up if you had played, because you're automatically guaranteed to be in the final 3. So it increases your chances of winning. Secondly, I've seen them have the actual game set up in advance where you can actually practice. They'll set you up like a private space on the island where you can go and practice the actual challenge that you're going to be doing to be able to do the best possible that you would, you get to not only know what it is ahead of time, but you also get to practice. So, and they usually let you practice like till sundown on the day that you get the advantage. And then third advantage, I'm not totally sure, maybe like, I don't know about Cutthroat. I have a lot to say about the final elimination, the second person who is eliminated, so it's going to take me a bit to get there. Thank you, Amit. But hi, Kieran, hello. In terms of the third advantage, sometimes they have like weights, like sandbags that you have to put on yourself to slow you down and make it harder. So maybe you would either like not have to wear those, or everyone else would have extra weight put on them, or maybe you get like started a little bit closer to the finish line or something. Like, I don't really know what that third advantage would be, but you can buy up to 3 advantages, so that's pretty cool. It's good news for Natalie because she could buy 3 advantages. She's got 4 fire tokens, and from what I can tell, on the edge of extinction there's not really any way to lose your fire tokens, so therefore she could buy 3 advantages, and then she would only have 1 left, so then she could buy like a food item or something. But it's hard to know when is the challenge coming. Will they have noticed that the challenge is coming ahead of time? For me, I would think that she should have already bought those 3 advantages, like, now. I mean, is there a time limit on when they can cash them in? I'm not really sure. The hidden immunity idol is something you would want to have that going into the game, so she would have to get 2 more fire tokens to be able to actually go into the game. This was the first time that she was not the person who got the fire token. The last challenge, all 4 of them got fire tokens, so it wasn't like a matter of one or the other. They all got it. And then every single token before that was gotten by Natalie. So this is the first time Natalie didn't get the token, or a token, and nobody got it except Tyson. So Tyson goes to the menu, he sees he can get an advantage, he sees he can get these like food items, and he decides to buy peanut butter, which I was just like, that is so stupid. Why would you get one and you immediately spend it? It's like, you can just tell he's not a saver, right? There's spenders and there's savers in the world, and he's just like, it's burning a hole in my pocket. The moment I get it, it's gone. I'm spending it, and I'm getting peanut butter, and I'm eating this peanut butter, and it's so good and it's so amazing. He's like, and he says that this is his way of getting an advantage. Sounds okay to me. This is his way of getting an advantage in the challenge because he has protein. He's going to eat it slowly and progressively over however long. He's going to hide his little storage of peanut butter. And he said it's sneaky and it's hilarious because it's, he's like sneaking away to eat peanut butter and no one knows. Although I feel like they'll probably smell it or something. There's going to be something, or somebody's going to find it or something. I don't know. But I think I would rather have a legitimate advantage in the challenge rather than just like, I'm not as hungry as everyone else. I have peanut butter in my system, so I'm stronger now. And he said it's like some kind of superfood. Peanut butter has all these health benefits and advantages, and it's going to give him an edge in the challenge, which it will. But I think that actual advantage in the challenge is going to give you more of an edge. Like, you might get fast forwarded to the final 3, and you don't have to worry about the peanut butter. You don't have to worry about like how much food you ate or anything because you're already there in the end. So I guess the peanut butter and that would be good, but you have no more tokens. So anyway, I'm just saying. Doesn't his bag all of a sudden look really heavy and lumpy? My guess is that he's like burying it in the sand somewhere or something. Like, I doubt he's carrying the jar of peanut butter around with him. That's what they usually do when they hide food, is they like bury it somewhere. Kieran, whoa, 6,000 super hearts, boom! What a boss. Thank you so much. Thank you. People are cutthroat this season. Hey, Lex. I'm enjoying Survivor this year. First time watching it in a long time. Seems it's more about idols and not surviving. So Edge of Extinction is going to have... Actually, I found that the rewards aren't as big and luxurious so far. They're not eating, so these people have all played Survivor before, so they don't complain about it as much. And also, I think they just don't show those types of clips as much because people are so fascinated about the social game and the strategic game that they don't necessarily want to just hear people going, oh my god, I'm so hungry. But they are. I mean, all they're eating out there is rice, sometimes beans, but I don't think they have beans this season. I think it's just rice, and then whatever they can catch in the ocean. So like snails, Kim caught that big ass eel. Sandra caught that big shark, big baby shark. So sometimes they get like these big catches in the ocean, but even that they have to split with the entire tribe. So they're really not eating a lot. So in a way, it is they're very hungry. They're losing weight. You can start to see them getting really bony. Sarah's abs look amazing, so nice. You can see like their ribs, and you can tell they're not eating very much. And then their rewards oftentimes are food, but not always. Oh, really? Your girlfriend has this sweater? That's funny. Hey there, Bieber. Michael, thank you for sharing this out. I don't know what 6 stone means. Maybe he had too much confidence that he'll earn future tokens over there. Yeah, that's how it read to me. Is he's like, oh well, I can just get tokens, and it's also like, how long does he think it's gonna be before the challenge happens? Like, we're getting down to it, aren't we? I mean, I don't know how long it was before the Edge of Extinction last season. Those people competed and came back, but it seems like there's not that much time left for this to happen. So Survivor is usually, I think it's usually 15 episodes, but the 15th episode is like the reunion after the winning. So the 14th episode is usually the finale. So we're more than halfway through we're almost halfway through the season at this point. And typically, I don't believe they come in like that close to the end, but I really don't remember, if I'm honest, so maybe Bradley can tell me. Squirrel emoji is cool. Haven't seen a squirrel in ages. I just used a squirrel emoji earlier because I was talking about one of the boys. Today was day 2 of homeschooling, and it was much more challenging today than yesterday because I tried to do double the amount of work today that we did yesterday, and one of the boys' attention span was just like, squirrel? What? Squirrel? I wonder if the finale will be postponed or done via Skype calls. Good question. It'll be, yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell. I guess it'll just depend because it would be in about a month and a half. No, it would be like 2 months. So hopefully they'll be able to meet up at that point, but we'll see. We will see. All right. Moving on. I think I got all that. Yep. Sold it to Parvati. Man panties. Peanut butter. Great. The pricing. Okay, then they go back to the main island where they're about to do a challenge. And he's like, okay, you're playing for immunity. Two tribes will go to tribal council. The first tribe to win immunity wins immunity. That's it. Only one tribe wins immunity. And they also win reward. He's like, and the reward is, and before he shows it or anything, Sophie just goes, peanut butter and jelly. And he like looks at her and he's like, what the heck? And he lifts it up and boom, peanut butter and jelly. Like, she freaking knew it, and that's what she wanted so bad, and it was just so funny. 2 more months of Survivor. Yeah, it's 8 more episodes. Yep, 2 more months. 8 more weeks. Which was really, really random and awesome. And I was watching and I was like, oh my god, Sele is so strong. I love them because my dude, the guy I want to win, Yule, is on that tribe. So there's him, Wendell, Nick, and Parvati. Michelle sat out. And Sandra sat out for the Yara. What is she on? Dakal? The Dakal tribe. I think it's Dakal. I have my notes. I literally write notes. Yeah, Dakal. Hi, Britt. Hi. So they're sat out, and he said, go sit on the Sandra bench, and Michelle sits out too. And Saley was just so strong. It was so awesome. I was really confident that they were going to do really well. Ben was really strong too. He's on the Yara tribe. I was like, wow, these people are so impressive. Nick was so steady on the puzzle and so awesome. And I felt like Sophie was like kind of spastic at first. Like, she seemed like she just was not really like calm and focused and steady ahead in the game. She was just like kind of frantic. And I was like, oh no, she's not going to do this. And they were behind. They were way behind. Yara was like quite far behind. In the beginning. And then there was the Dakal tribe, which seemed to be doing okay. Jeremy looked like he was pretty good on the puzzle as well. However, Wendell the whole episode, okay? Wendell gets up there and he's like, watch this, Jeff, and then immediately fails. And Jeff's like, Wendell drops it at the last moment while talking smack. Like Jeff's funny commentary always. And, I think Wendell tried again, and he still didn't get it. And I'm like, just get Nick back on there, Nick. So Nick gets on there. He gets another one. He gets a third one so close, and Sophie had already, like, beasted. She had already gotten 2 in. She had her third one. They made it seem like it was very, very, very close. But, boom. Sophie beasted it. She calmed down. She got her energy. She was tight. I think Kim got one on the Dakal tribe, but all in all, the Dakal tribe was way behind. So I was worried because now my dude Yule is on the chopping block to potentially go home. I was happy that Sophie got her peanut butter and jelly, and my friend Michael wants Sophie to win, so I was glad that she actually has Sophie as her picture. I was glad that, you know, she was going to have some victory with this. I felt like it would have been an easy vote out, that Adam would have been done and gone. It wouldn't have even been that interesting, but Adam gets to live another day thanks to Sophie. I'm not used to regular TV anymore, just Netflix binges, delayed gratification, yeah. Wendell's all hangry, probably. Stone is weight. I know, but what's 6 stone? I mean, what weight is that? I know what you were saying. Gary, I hope so. I sure hope so. Let's see. So, yeah, we were just like, Ed was like, oh, she wanted that peanut butter and jelly so badly. Fine, give her the freaking PB&J. I just don't want my dude to go home. But I was thinking, you know, he's sitting pretty. Like, we have Nick, Wendell, Yule. It's a strong alliance from the Call tribe. Even though they're on Sele now, they've taken over Sele. And it's Parvati and Michelle, who are a strong alliance as well. But 3 versus 2, we got the numbers, we should be good. Also, Michelle is Wendell's ex-girlfriend, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of that going on. Parvati's an obvious huge threat, so I'm like, okay, we're sitting pretty good. Editing can always make you nervous, though, because you get all the, you know, Parvati is a master of this game. She's a champion at Survivor. She's played a lot. And she will look for any crack she can find. And she's very good at reading people. She said, every time I talk to Yule, his arms are crossed, his legs are crossed, he's very closed. She's like, he's not open at all. Like, there's no crack there. I can't get into that guy. And I'm thinking, good. My dude is solid. I love it. I'm happy to hear this. And her and Michelle are kind of talking, okay, well, what else? And Michelle's like, well, maybe I can work on Wendell a little bit because they have their history. So, you know, she goes up to Wendell with this weird thing. I mean, I don't find either Wendell or Michelle, like, wildly impressive players. I don't usually understand why they're doing what they're doing. Wendell, I understood more than Michelle. Michelle goes up to Wendell and says, Wendell, I'm going to vote for you in hopes of getting Parvati's tokens, which I assume she was saying that we will share amongst ourselves or something. I can use them to, because she wants to get in with the 3, right? So there's a strong 3, and then there's Michelle and Parvati. But they're basically all wanting to get Parvati out. So Michelle's trying to say, okay, well, Parvati's going to vote for you, so I'm going to vote for you too to keep Parvati's favor so that she gives me her tokens, because Parvati has 4 fire tokens as far as they know. At this point she has 3 because she bought the idol nullifier, which no one knows about. And you know, he was kind of like, why? He's like, are you kidding me right now? We're a tribe of 5. If she's voting for me, and now you're going to vote for me, that all it takes is one other person. So all it takes is Nick or Yule to flip, and then I'm out. So don't do that. Like, he gets all mad, right? Which is understandable, because it's a good point. Like, one person would have to flip, and his game is over. So he didn't like that too much. They're also like, okay, well, maybe we can find a crack with Nick. And I thought that was a better move because Nick has had a crush on Parvati for a good portion of his life. In high school, that was his high school crush. So so Parvati's like, oh, maybe I can kind of, but she's not really using like her flirtation so much. Like, maybe because she's married, she has kids, it feels a little wrong. You don't want your kids to see you like flirting with another man, trying to like seduce him into, you know, picking you and working with you. So it's challenging. Like, that was her move. That's like her signature move all through her previous Survivor history. Now she's a different person, and it's like she's just kind of like not a better person, but she's an attached person now. So she doesn't have as much wiggle room that she did when she was assumably single. So she's like, you know, trying to get Nick over. Nick's like, yeah, I don't know. So then, okay, so this interaction happens between Wendell and Parvati, where Wendell says to Parvati, listen, what are you willing to barter fire tokens for? He says, if you give me your fire tokens, I think he wanted 2. If you give me 2 fire tokens, 2 or 3, I don't remember exactly how many, it might have been 3. Give me some amount of fire tokens, and I will vote for who you want me to vote for. He's like, your guns are pointed at me, my guns are pointed at you. How can we work together so that we're not going against each other, instead we're on the same team? Basically, she was like, okay, well, it would have to be Yule or Nick. He was like, fine, just, you know, you give me the tokens and we'll find out. And she's like, you want me to give you the tokens before or after tribal? He's like, before. She's like, no, I can't give them to you before, because I give you my tokens, you just vote me out, and then I've given you my tokens. I have no power, right? Those are like all I have. So instead, I'll give you the tokens after you prove your loyalty and honesty to me after tribal council, but they just weren't working well together. It wasn't easy for them to communicate. They have some barrier, there's some issue that makes it hard for them to communicate with each other, so they couldn't figure that out. But that was all Parvati needed to go to Nick and say, hey, Wendell just told me that if I gave him some fire tokens, he'd be willing to vote for you or Yul. So he's like, his loyalty isn't all that strong. Now here's the reality. All these guys know that Wendell's just saying that to try to get her fire tokens, because otherwise they're going to Michelle, and Michelle is not part of their alliance of 3. So it's smart. Actually, what Wendell was doing, although they tried to make it seem like he wasn't totally committed to his alliance, I think he was from the jump. It was all talk, it was all play, it was all just, let me get your fire tokens and I'll take care of you. But really, why do you think he wanted them ahead of time? Because he was never going to not vote for her. He was never going to vote for Nick or Yul. He was always going to vote for Parvati. And that was obvious, and he didn't play it great. It was a nice try. I liked that he was trying to get the tokens. Parvati doesn't really have any other options, so he was like trying to kind of prey on that weakness. It was well played. There was a little too much emotion in it, and that could have to do with like, you're my ex-girlfriend's friend, you know, my ex-girlfriend's coming up to me, and like it's awkward already that we're on this island, and I'm hangry, like Michael said, so there's this whole atmosphere. So let me make sure that I don't skip ahead. Okay, so then they have like a super awkward tribal council, but before we get to their tribal council, let's talk about what's going on with the Dakal tribe, who is also scrambling before their tribal council. I think it's better for my business, Mike. What do you think? Nick's acting was solid on that. I thought he was genuinely shook. Yeah, I mean, I think Nick, to me, it did seem like Nick was actually considering switching it up. Like he said, I would really love to play this game with Parvati. Like, it's like a boyhood dream of his, right? That he's like always wanted to play with her. Notice that they didn't show anyone talking to Yul the whole episode. Now that made me feel good, because I do feel like when someone's about to get voted off, they usually get a decent amount of airtime. So because Yul wasn't on like the whole episode, he's probably safe. And we know Yul is very rational, he's very calm, he's very reasonable, he's very persuasive, and you know that as soon as Nick, or Wendell was probably solid the whole time, but Nick, if he talked to Yul at all, you have Yul going, well, Parvati's a really big threat, and we have a strong group of 3, and if we can keep our group of 3 strong before we start picking each other off, we could go to final 3. You know what I mean? Like, Yul's speaking sense into the situation, and that doesn't make for good editing, because then you're just sitting there going, okay, Parvati is going home. We knew Parvati was going home. We all assumed it was going to be Parvati. They're trying to make it seem like, well, maybe it won't be Parvati. Maybe it'll be Wendell, or maybe it'll be Nick, or maybe it'll be Yul. You know, it's not going to be Michelle. That's the only thing we know. And that was kind of like this. It's just for good TV. You know what I mean? Kit Kats. You think no one cares about fire tokens? Loxy, are you drunk right now? Be honest. I know you're quarantined, you're at your house, you're bored, you got nothing else to do. You know, the liquor stores are still open, but I care a lot about fire tokens. Fire tokens are probably the most interesting aspect of this season that I find. I think they omitted some critical conversations on the Parvati team coverage. Yep. Jinx. Thank God for Netflix and Wi-Fi. Who's gonna win? I mean, I want Yul to win. I don't know if he will win, though. Peanut butter. Hello, tiny crack baby. More serious. Yeah, that's pretty much it, Mike. Can't wait till you get to Tony. Okay, we're there. We're at Tony pretty much. So we're on Dakal, right? And we're trying to figure out, okay, who's gonna go? My first thought is like, okay, Sandra. And I was like, oh, Sandra has an idol. So then I was like, well, actually, everyone on this tribe has an advantage or an idol except Tony. And I was thinking Kim really has the power here, because Kim is the swing vote, right? So we saw Denise and Jeremy trying to kind of bring Kim over, and we saw Tony and Sandra kind of like thinking, oh, we didn't really build that great relationship with Kim when we were all in Dakal together, the original Dakal. So we have to make sure that this is really strong, because we have the numbers. If we just keep the numbers, we can pick off Jeremy and Denise. So day of tribal council comes. Tony, gone. Nobody can find him. Nobody's heard from him. We as the audience at home know what's going on with Tony. He explains that he's worried about tribal council. He doesn't know who has an idol, if anyone has an idol. He doesn't know who the target is. He doesn't know if he can trust anyone. So he does what he always does. Well, I don't know if he always does what he did in his season where he won, which is build a spy shack. So he builds a spy shack near the well, which is exactly where he built it last time. And everyone's like, where's Tony? What's going on? He's freaking out. Maybe he just needed a minute. Like, whatever. Where is he? Can't find him. And Sandra, you can tell, Sandra is so smart. First of all, Sandra knows Tony well. She loves Tony. And she's kind of like, look, every time someone tries to talk to her, she's kind of looking around thinking, like, Tony is listening to me right now. Like, where is this MFer? Because I know he built a freaking spy shack. I know he's around here somewhere. And she even said at the well, she's like, let's not talk by the well. This is where he built his spy shack last time. You think he has a spy shack again? I'm like, yes, she's so smart. She is so good at this game. Out of all the seasons I watched of Sandra, this is the season I've been most impressed with her. I just feel like she's really showing how good she is at this game, socially, strategically, maybe not physically, but she's never needed it before, and who says that she needs it now besides all these trolls on Twitter? So I love her. I thought it was super impressive. I love that she knew that he was in a spy shack. And sure enough, he wasn't able to get any good information with his spy shack because everyone was like avoiding the well and having conversations near there. Because that's typically where people have conversations, is by the water well, because it's quite a long ways from the camp. And a few people might go to get water at a time. So then you can have a conversation when you go to get water. And that's when you can go search for an idol. That's their thing. Maybe he's looking for an idol. Who knows? So when he finally like appears, he's like all manic, and you know Kim's like literally petting his shoulders. Tony, calm down. We're so solid. We're so good. Just relax. Just chill out. We just need you to be calm and like not freak out, not panic right now. And he still was. He's saying to Jeremy, all right, are you going to vote for Denise? We're all going to vote for Denise. Like, what are we doing? You know, he's like just very Tony, like this Tony energy. So Sandra's seeing all this, right? And she's kind of like, Tony, like, why are you freaking out? And she's starting to feel like Tony is so paranoid that I don't really, and Kim was saying the same thing, like, this guy's so unpredictable and so kind of chaotic. This isn't really the kind of person I like to work with and ally with and have around. He's entertaining, he's fun to watch, he's funny, he's like got this crazy energy, like the crazy ladder he built a few weeks ago, but you know, he could turn on any of us in the blink of an eye just because he's like paranoid that we've turned on him or something. So of course Sandra's like, all right, well, let me turn on him before he turns on me. So her plan is that she goes to Denise and she says, what will you barter fire tokens for? And I liked this because this is now two different tribes on the same day, roughly, day or 2 days, that are starting to barter with the fire tokens. They're starting to feel like, what are these fire tokens for? Wendell mentioned in their tribal council that, you know, he's not sure what they're for. Maybe these things are going to become legitimate immunity idols at some point, in which case, you know, you want to have as many of them as you can have. That gives you the most power. We know that they have some purpose and we need to keep them. Now, they've all seen the price list, so they know they can buy all this gear with the fire tokens. And as far as I can tell, that's really all they are good for. They're not going to become idols, but who am I to say? It would be crazy if they all became idols. Like, everyone has an immunity idol now. You just have to guess when you're going to use it. I mean, I'm not so sure. Hey, Mamma Mia! Yes! Good. God, I'm loving this season, too, so much. Yeah. Sherlock Tony, yeah. You're sharing custody of me with Liz. Oh, okay, that's fine. I like Liz a lot. All right. So, and I like her, and I really do think she should merge her face with handsome Squidward, but that's besides the point. So, she says to Denise, what are you willing to barter fire tokens for? And Denise says, I would barter fire tokens for immunity. And so Sandra says, okay, well, how about you give me 2 of your fire tokens, which I think was all Denise had. Yep, Denise had 2 fire tokens. Oh yeah, I forgot to adjust hers. Sorry, I'm just like writing more notes down here. You give me 2 of your fire tokens and I'll give you immunity. So Denise is like, wait, seriously right now? Like, you're going to give me immunity, a real immunity idol? Now, there was a conflict of personalities here. There was 2 conflicts of personalities, and both are having to do with this bartering of fire tokens, which is interesting and a point that I didn't connect till just now, which is Parvati and Wendell. He's trying to get her fire tokens, and their personalities are not meshing. They're not working well together. They're not communicating well together. Same thing's happening here with Denise and Sandra. Sandra's trying to get Denise's fire tokens, and they are not communicating well. They're not working well together. Now, Sandra has no way of telling because Denise is a therapist, so can keep a good poker face, right? And Sandra's very, she's being pretty open. I mean, she literally told Denise everything, the truth. She said, we are all voting for you tonight, so I'm going to sell you an idol so that you can decide who you want to go home. Just make sure it's not me, make sure it's not Kim. She's like, don't touch me, don't touch Kim, and whoever else. So basically she's saying Tony, right? Because why would Denise vote out Jeremy, her only ally? Of course she would vote out Tony. So in a way, Sandra's like, you vote out Tony so I don't have to, and my hands will be clean. And that's what Denise said. She's like, I see Sandra's move. Sandra wants to be able to say, oh, well, I didn't vote him out. I didn't vote for you. I didn't know anything about that. That was all Denise, so that she gets away scot-free, and then Tony's revenge, if he ends up on the jury or something, is towards Denise rather than towards Sandra, which is a very smart move. Absolutely. Now, okay. So she takes her up on that offer, and she says, okay, I'll give you one fire token before tribal council, and then I'll give you one after I've proven that it is a real idol and that it actually works and saves me. Then I'll give you my other token when we get back from council or from tribal. Great deal. They shake on it. Sandra gives her the idol. She gives her the fire token. We're good to go. Sandra had 0 fire tokens before this, and Denise had 2. So now Denise has 1. Sandra has 1. And now Denise also has 2 idols because she already had an idol that she had found on her original tribe, which Sandra didn't know about. Sandra, very open and honest, tells Denise everything. Denise keeps tight lips and doesn't tell Sandra about her idol, which is smart. Definitely smart. We'll get to that when we get to their tribal. So then we cut back to the tribal council of Sele, which ends up being really awkward between Wendell and Parvati. You know, they're kind of they're talking about this. You know, Wendell says, I'll stab you in the back, I'll stab you in the front, I'm here to win, I don't care. And, you know, everyone kind of tries to, use that against him. They're like, oh, well, I wouldn't want to work with someone who's going to stab me in the back and blah, blah, blah. It's such BS because it's first of all, this is Survivor. It's literally the sole Survivor. You have to be the only person left. You don't get there by just not stabbing people in the back. That's part of it. Part of it is the art of deception, lying, betrayal, stabbing in the back, being two-faced. I mean, if you do a good enough job at that, you win the game. So, this is not news to anyone, but of course they use this to try to be Wendell, vote for Wendell, he's going to stab you in the back, he just said he's going to do it, really trying to convince Nick to flip, because you could tell, Yul even in tribal council, Yul's nah, I'm not here for this. Yul said at one point that it was really awkward, and he felt like it was a fight, he was watching his parents fight at the dinner table between Parvati and Wendell. And even Michelle, she got emotional, and she said, I feel like there's 4 people here that I love, and I just want everyone to get along, Actually, Mamma Mia, I disagree with you wholeheartedly, and I'm going to say why in just a couple minutes after this. Hang on. The guy last night on Island of Extinction was able to buy an idol, but he went for peanut butter. He wasn't able to buy an idol. An idol is 3. An idol is 3 fire tokens. I know, he was saying that, right? He was like, I could get an immunity idol. I'm like, no, you couldn't. It costs 3 tokens. You have 1 token. He could buy an advantage. So he could buy an advantage in the challenge to get back into the game, which I personally still think he should have. Instead, he went with peanut butter. Denise was smart with the one before, one after. Wait, what? That ring game in Marine boot camp. Half idols, well played. Oh, how she had Adam. She pulled Adam in as her ally. Yeah, well, hopefully Adam can survive on Yara, because he's definitely on the bottom of his tribe right now. Who doesn't love peanut butter? Peanut butter is one of the biggest things they crave in Survivor. You see it on other... was a cop-out to quit. Yeah, I thought about that, Mamma Mia. So I was like thinking, okay, so if you're on the edge of extinction, you can put the white flag up, right, and quit and just leave the game and say screw it. But now with the fire tokens, you can also buy food. So you can like buy a bottle of wine and just be like, I'm just gonna get drunk. Like, who cares? And like maybe it'll get me through one more night, or I'm just gonna buy like some hamburgers or whatever. So that's kind of cool because it keeps them, like, it lures them to want to stay there, but also waste their fire tokens on something like that rather than an advantage. But he claims that like it's gonna give him strength, so that he's going to be strong, and that will be an advantage for him in the challenge, which is, it's a good argument, but I think it's not as good as actually buying an advantage, which that's what he could have gotten. One token, one advantage, but one coin before, one after deal with Sandra was smart. Oh, absolutely. Gained Sandra's trust and also preserved one coin. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what you could tell that the main thing that happened, let's get to that. The main thing that happened was Denise didn't trust Sandra when she should have, in my opinion. Okay, so we're gonna get back to that in a minute. Let's just finish up the first tribal council. So at tribal, you know, Parvati's still like they I don't know if it was Parvati or Jeff. I think Jeff asked Wendell, well, are you talking about this deal as something that has expired, this deal with Parvati, or something that's still on the table? And he says it's still on the table. This deal is still up for grabs. And she looks at him and she says, okay, Wendell, do you want to do something? And he was like, yeah, if you want to do something. And she's kind of like, I don't know, like the way he wasn't, you know, if he really wanted to do something, he would be more like looking around like, yeah, but like kind of awkward. Everybody's here. Like, what do we do? You know, yeah, I want to work with you. Like, or come over and whisper in it. And she's like, well, are you going to give me a name? And he's like, no. Yeah, so you could just tell, and Parvati was really smart to hold on to those tokens because she could tell this guy doesn't want to work with you. She's like, I don't know, it just seems like you don't trust me. And you could tell, like, she reads body language really well, nonverbal, and that was so important for her to keep those tokens, which ultimately, after all the hemming and hawing and awkwardness that went down, which was actually pretty interesting, entertaining, we ended up with something that looked like this. Boom. Parvati ended up being voted out, not unanimously. Michelle did vote for Wendell. So we had Parvati got voted out first, and there was like a thought where, oh, maybe Nick will have voted for Wendell, but he did vote for Parvati, which is smart. So the three guys stayed strong, which is really smart. I'm happy because Yule is the guy I want to win, and he's part of that alliance. So if they can keep this three-strong alliance and maybe even bring Michelle into it, who knows if she will or not, but, you know, especially because Wendell's her ex, and there definitely seems to be bad blood there. Having a strong three is really valuable. Like, if you guys just always have each other's backs and don't really like split up after the merge, you can go pretty far in the game if you guys are always working together, as long as people don't really know, which is tough because you know, Michelle does know, so she's gonna blow the whistle on you guys if she gets the chance. So it's a bit of a gray area. I'm just kind of like wondering who was on there. So we have Sophie. Sophie's part of that too, though. Now Sophie's brought in Sarah. So Sophie and Sarah, I think, would also be part of that alliance. So then you have 5. And then that's pretty much it. So you do have, like, Ben, Adam, and Denise as another potentially strong 3, with Jeremy as a strong 4th, a pretty strong 4th, but it's not as big as a 5. So it seems like they do have the numbers as long as they can preserve all those people I just named. There's an ice cream truck going by. Someone's calling me from New York. Maybe Karishma will make an appearance as an advisor. Rob or Amber are getting back on and winning it. You think Amber's going to get back on and win it? My money would be more on... I mean, Rob could do it. I think Tyson could do it. And I think Natalie could do it. I don't really have a ton of faith in anybody else on there. Denise the GOAT. Really? Denise is trying to build her resume. That's true. Pull her in as strategy. Hey, Juan. If you know you're about to get the boot, a gift of peanut butter might change things. Well, he's already been booted. He's on the edge of extinction. Okay. Sophie is the biggest threat. Sophie's doing really, really well this season. I agree with that, for sure. So I'm ready now to get to the final tribal, which I think was the more interesting tribal of the two, which was between the Dakal tribe. So here's what happened. What are advisors? I think he means the last season was Island of the Idols, where they had Rob and Sandra come on and try to teach people how to play Survivor really well, because Sandra's won twice and Rob's been on Survivor more than anyone else. But he's joking about Krishma. Krishma would not be that person. TRC, hi! All right. So we get to the tribal council, all right? We know it's going to happen. We know the plan. Sandra talks about how everyone here is a threat except Denise, which was another nail in her coffin because Denise was, like, offended by this. Denise wants to feel like she's really good at the game. Everyone does, because these people all have big egos because they've all won $1 million from the game before. Michelle struggles with that because her win was controversial, and I think Wendell's probably was as well. Krishna has some sort of gift. No way she lasted so long on Scale. I don't really even remember Sophie, Nick, Adam. I watched those seasons so fast I don't even barely remember like what happened in any of these. But anyway, those two I kind of view as like somewhat controversial wins. So, oh yeah, wait, before we get to the tribal council, there was that one funny thing where Denise and Sandra were having the conversation, and then Sandra sees Kim coming over and she goes, oh my god, cookies and cream, oh, I would just kill for that right now. And Denise is like, yeah, we can figure out a way to make this happen. We're gonna make this happen. You know, she's like, oh, we're talking about cupcakes over here, which I kind of was thinking, like, cupcakes? That's not cookies. Cookies and cream is ice cream, but whatever. We're just gonna let that one slide, Denise. But it was kind of like a cover. It was cute how they quickly they're talking about, okay, here's the plan. All right, cookies and cream. I would kill for cookies and cream right now. So good, you know. Why Michelle's win was controversial. She won against Ty and Aubrey, who were both from the audience. It was kind of like a Tommy win, like last season. It's like the win was so people expected. She was the last person people expected to win, in my opinion. Like, she didn't play a super strong game. Like, she wasn't like a big player. She didn't make like a lot of strategic moves. It was almost like a popularity win. So because because she hadn't made any big moves, everyone on the jury didn't hate her. So she ended up winning. You know, sometimes when people win like that, it's a bit controversial because and Michelle was talking about how her win was controversial, and Rob said to her, no, you won fair and square. People want to talk crap. It's the internet, you know, whatever. But even I was that same way. Like, when Michelle won, I was like, what? Like, how did she win that? Like, Ty was so good. Aubrey was so good. Those two were so good. And Michelle was like, I wouldn't have listed her as like so good per se, you know. It's almost like she was the GOAT, you know. These are people that have contributed over the last 30 days to make this channel and show possible. Used to binge on peanut butter and crackers as a kid. Josh, you have this personality trait where you like fixate on one thing that's said in the broadcast and then you just keep talking about it way after everyone else is done talking about it. Like, peanut butter was like, we've been live for 53 minutes. I think I said peanut butter in the first 5 minutes of this broadcast, and Josh is sitting here going, you know, I really just love peanut butter. Even when I was a kid, I loved peanut butter sundaes. I love it. I love getting to know you guys a little bit better. People were bitter, so they voted bitter versus better with strategy. Yeah, and that can be considered a strategy, right? Which is what Sandra was actually playing when she wanted Denise to get Tony out, because she was like, then my hands are clean, then I'm still popular with Tony. Tony will still like me and still want to vote for me. I keep losing connection. Do you think it's on my end or yours? I'm not dropping any frames, but I do notice sometimes Periscope just can't handle my OBS broadcasts. So if you go on YouTube, it should be a lot cleaner. YouTube streams are so much better than Periscope. This episode does make me want a PB&J, and I'm probably going to have one now right after this broadcast. Let's talk about the tribal, okay? The moment we've all been waiting for. So the plan is Denise uses her idol. She votes out Tony or Jeremy, which we know it's going to be Tony, right? And that's it. Reasons why this makes sense. Sandra is the only person who told Denise, from what we can tell, right? Sandra told Denise everything. We are all voting for you. And not only that, but I'm going to offer you a way to stay. I want you to stay. I want you to stay in this game. So therefore, I'm going to give you an immunity idol for 1 fire token. Okay, 2 fire tokens, but really, what's more valuable, fire tokens or an idol? I mean, who knows for sure, but let's just assume that we know what an idol is worth. If we're guessing that tokens might be worth something in the future, it's a gray area. We don't know that for sure. We know idols are valuable. Sandra's going to give you her idol, give up her own immunity to you to keep you in this game. That is a powerful alliance and a powerful move. So you have the person who just told you straight up the truth from the jump, everything true, sold you an immunity idol, and gave you basically a foolproof plan. This is somebody that you can work with. And Sandra, there's two more things, good reasons that this makes a lot of sense. Sandra is no threat in individual immunity challenges. When the merge, and you know Sandra wants to keep you here, so she's not going to vote you out next time or next time or next time or next time because she wants you here. She might vote you out if she absolutely has to, but she loves Tony. She has been quoted as saying Tony is her favorite person in the world. And she wants you over Tony. That's big. This is a big thing. And Sandra has no threat in immunity challenges, individual immunity challenges, well, any immunity challenges, maybe puzzles, but still, because she's not a physical threat at all. Denise is an ox. She is strong as hell. She's won individual immunity challenges many times in the past, and Sandra hasn't. I don't think Sandra's ever won an individual immunity. So you have someone who can't beat you, right? You have your goat, so to speak, that can't win immunity challenges, so you can beat them for immunity every time. And she's a mega frickin' target. She has won Survivor twice before, which no one else in the history of 20 years of Survivor has ever done. Everyone's going to be gunning for her. Everyone's going to want her out. She is your meat shield. She is your shield. Everyone guns for her. No one guns for you. You have an alliance with her, which is very powerful because she's good in the game. She has connections with other people in the game. She will bring you along with her, even if she thinks of you as a goat. Who cares? You get further in the game. And you can beat her out for immunity challenges, and then you have the power, and you basically get to make the calls. All these things are the reasons why Denise should have done what the plan was. Instead, here's what happens. She plays the immunity idol, right? We knew that was happening. She plays it for herself. Yes. Denise doesn't have a very strong alliance. Exactly. She has, like, Jeremy, who just was willing to vote her out. She had, like, because we saw a similar play out with Michelle and Parvati. Michelle didn't refuse to vote for Parvati. She's like, I'm not voting for Parvati, right? This is my alliance. I'm not going to vote for her. Jeremy could have taken the same stance, but he didn't. Instead, he voted for Denise. So that's not a very strong alliance there. Jeremy and Natalie, strong alliance. Jeremy and Denise, not a strong alliance. Then you have Denise and Adam, which is like, she left him out of that vote to get Ethan out. So he wasn't even included in that. So that kind of shattered their alliance a little bit, or not shattered it, but fractured it. And then you have, like, her and Ben helped her find an idol and didn't ask her for half of it, which is a smart move on Ben's part. But again, like, Denise needs all the alliances that she can get, especially an alliance with a huge target. So the only reason I could think that you wouldn't do that was because you are thinking in the short term and you want your tribe to win. So you want a strong tribe because you still think there's going to be tribal challenges and you want to win immunities. And because if you vote someone else besides Sandra out, you won't be able to win because Sandra won't be able to sit out. So then she pulls out her second idol and plays that on Jeremy. So that way, and this is how you know she said, I'll give you one before and one after, right? So she's like, doesn't trust Sandra from the jump. And she was talking like about how this isn't how she plays and Sandra does it like this and this isn't how I do it. And you could just tell she didn't like her facial reactions to things Sandra said. She didn't like these things. You could just tell Denise doesn't particularly like Sandra. They don't get along very well. And I don't know if I would either. I don't know if I'd like either of them or both of them or one or either. Whatever, I'm not judging. I'm just saying, like, as I look at this from a purely strategic point of view, as much as I can, I'm thinking this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It seems personal. It seems like like Mamma Mia said, she's building her resume, right? So she does this because everybody there is going, oh my God, what, crazy, no one saw that coming. And it was, but at the same time, like, you can't win the game of Survivor without numbers. You have no alliance now. Like, you could have taken Tony out and you would have had Sandra, obviously. You already have Jeremy, and now Kim would definitely go with you guys because what's she gonna do, be the odd man out? No, of course not. Kim's gonna be a close ally with you guys, and then maybe you can get Sandra out or whatever. So she plays her second idol on Jeremy, which was unnecessary because everybody did vote for Denise, just as Sandra had said. And then, but you could tell because she played that second idol, she also still didn't trust Sandra. She thought maybe they switched the votes, maybe they were gonna throw some votes or vote for Jeremy. And then finally she voted for Sandra and got Sandra out. The number one threat for everyone else to vote out, the number zero threat, the lowest threat for individual immunity challenges, and the one person who told you straight up and gave you a freaking immunity idol. That's dumb. To me, Sandra played that expertly and geniusly. She knew she was doing jury management. She was being strategic. She was taking risks. I mean, she was doing everything that you're supposed to do in Survivor. And Denise played like a noob. She played like this is her second time playing, which it is. You know, Sandra's played a few times before. And Sandra's watched the show pretty intensely. Denise, I don't know. I don't know what her deal is exactly, but I think she just shot herself right in the foot. Right in the foot. I think Denise stands no chance of winning. That's what she just gave up both of her immunity idols. She obviously doesn't have any more. We know she doesn't have any more. Everyone else knows she doesn't have any more. If she had held on to that second immunity idol, she would have used the immunity idol, and then she would still have one and no one would think she did. They would have thought, okay, she used the immunity idol and then she could be targeted in the future and she could use it then and protect herself. Now she has nothing to protect herself with. Now I see how, if everyone else they were tricking her. They told her it was going to be her. Instead it was Jeremy, and then she uses the idol unnecessarily. But why in the hell would Sandra do that? Why would Sandra tell you it was going to be you and then give you an immunity idol? Just if they were all going to vote for Jeremy, they don't need you to be involved. There's 3 of them. It makes no sense. Like, I really just feel like Denise, and all these people on Twitter and on Instagram, oh, Denise is the GOAT, Denise is so genius. And I'm thinking, like, that is not genius. That is a short term, everybody's patting you on the back thinking, oh, that was really impressive, really cool. You got Sandra out. What a notch in your belt. Yeah, well, great job. You just got yourself out as well. That's how I feel about it. Sorry, I'm going to read those comments. And Denise played the idol for Jeremy. That was messed up. Yep, she didn't need to do that. Her strong shield is gone. Denise was a great shield, or Sandra was a great shield for Denise. Yeah, you should apply for Survivor. You'd be good. Yeah. Messed up. Short-term resume building. Right, you built it up with those few people. And it is like, everybody will know if you make it to the merge, right? Everybody will know, oh my God, Denise got Sandra out. But even then, that puts a big target on your back. Wait, Denise got Sandra out? Denise convinced Sandra to sell her an idol and then voted her out? 1, can't be trusted. 2, is playing the game really hard. 3, we need to get her out immediately. Like, Yule is going to be on this so quickly. Yule is going to be like, Denise, we're getting her. She's gone. So that's what I think anyway. I mean... And then she left in people who are physical threats for her individual immunity challenges. So, and all these people are like not as big of a threat as she is, especially now. So she put a bigger target on her own back a little early in the game. Like I said, there's still 8 episodes left. And she left in Jeremy and Tony. And I would say even Kim. Kim is athletic as well. So all 3, I mean, Kim less so, but you have these 2 big, strong guys. Tony is a police officer and Jeremy is a firefighter. These guys are strong. I mean, they use their bodies for their living every single day. Like, they're men, right? So I know, like, women can outsmart men, whatever, and women can be strong, and they beat men at immunity challenges all the time, but physically speaking, typically, strong, muscular men are stronger than strong, muscular women. And if that pisses you off, I'm sorry. Take it up with God. Hi, Sonam. Social fit, you're funny. This island is chock full of conniving assholes. Okay, love you, Sadie. Bye. It is a spoiler, yes. Oh, and I forgot to do my final little... I gave it away because I got too excited. So then the second tribal council went like this. I like to do my little X's. Sandra, why? Why did she do that to you? You played so well. You played it right. Don't beat up on yourself. She said, she posted on her Instagram, go big or go home. I went big and I went home. And I'm like, such BS. Peanut butter was so 5 minutes ago. I want to talk about cookies and cream. Denise had nothing in her resume without that move. She found an idol. Ben didn't ask her for it. Adam gave it back to her. I mean, she can build up her resume more as she goes along. I really don't think this is the time to build up your resume when you have no alliances, really. I mean, these alliances are weak. Adam's on the bottom of his alliance. It seems like Ben is pretty tight with Sophie and Sarah now, which I don't think are going to team up with Denise. I think they're going to go right back to Yule and Wendell and Nick. because that's numbers, right? These might be like the final few people left in the game. From where Denise sits, she could be next on Sandra's chopping block, no matter what Sandra says. Right, so you can say Denise didn't trust Sandra. So where Sandra messed up is that she didn't build that relationship with Denise well enough. Like, even when Sandra said, you know, you're a very good person, Denise was like, yeah, but you're going to vote me off anyway. Like, Denise wasn't... They weren't connected, and that I will concede that point, that Sandra should have made sure that Denise really trusted her and really, like, convinced her and worked that angle a little bit better. But it was hard because they had such limited time, because Sandra didn't want anyone to know that she was doing that. She didn't want anyone to know about this secret alliance or anything, so it was like, and Tony's, like, hiding around in bunkers, so it's, like, hard to talk about it, you know? It's hard to build that relationship on the DL. Excuse me. She's, like, having an affair with Denise. Peanut butter and Ritz crackers. Big bag of rice through the toilet seat so I can earn a PB&J. Dude, that was crazy, getting that rice through that little hole. Sandra's Instagram, that's a good question. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it very easily. You might be able to just, like, Google Sandra Diaz Twine. It's like sassy something. Yeah, sassy SDT. Here it is. That top one. Sassy SDT. So Sassy Sandra Diaz Twine. Sassy SDT. That's her Instagram. Sandra was BSing Denise with this nice person stuff and saying she wasn't a threat. Right, and that was Sandra playing her role for the rest of the tribe to say that she didn't know, right? So she was saying, well, Denise isn't a threat, and so we want to keep all these people who are other threats. You know, but Denise is, like, sitting there thinking, I'm being insulted, I don't like this. Well, dude, it would have looked even better for you to pull a fast one on Sandra, like, even without having to... Who is calling me right now? Is something going on, like, with my family or something? These unknown numbers from New York are calling me. That's where I'm from, so... Alright. She eliminated the 3 down to 2. Yeah, but now it's 2 and 2. I mean, I think she can pull Kim over fine, and then they can target Tony next. But again, like, I don't see Denise, Kim, and Jeremy as a strong 3. Hi. Individual challenges are the next step. No, not until the merge. We don't know. They didn't say that the merge was next. I forget what they showed for next week's season. I forgot to write notes down on that. And then, okay, so Parvati gave her 3 coins to Michelle, and Sandra gave her 1 coin to Yul. Yes, Yul. Sorry, I'm screaming. I'm sorry. Rest in peace, headphone wearers. I want Yul to win, so I was really excited when Sandra gave her tokens to Yul. I did apply to be on Survivor, Mamma Mia. I don't think I would probably do that well because I'm very small. I'm only 104 pounds, so I'll probably just, like, pass out and die if they actually brought me on. But, yeah, it would be a life experience, that's for sure. Why not? Hang on, now my camera's all, like... No, that's not even the right webcam that I'm trying to edit here. Here it is. I'm all blurry. Autofocus. Here we go. Turn that off. There we go. Hi. Now you can see all my spots. Any other Survivor foods? Eel? I go big on my way home. Boom. 2 birds. Why's it gotta be an either or? Hi, Yubi. Yo, Jay. If individual challenges aren't next, I think it was good timing to get Sandra out. Perhaps. Sandra did say that she had a lot of people on the other side. I don't know who she's talking about. Apparently Yul, but I don't really know. Okay, so here we are with fire tokens now. So Parvati started out with 4. She went down to 3 when she bought the idol nullifier from Tyson for 1, and then she gave all 3 to Michelle when she was voted out. Natalie still has 4. Let's go actually. Yeah, so Natalie still has 4, so she remained the richest, but now Michelle also has 4. So it went from Natalie and Parvati being the richest at the beginning of the episode to Natalie and Michelle being the richest, because Michelle had her 1 from the beginning of the game, and then she got 3 from Parvati when she was voted out, so now she has 4. So she has 4, Natalie has 4. They are now the richest people on the islands. Then we have the people with 2, which brings us to Nick, and Yule. So Yule now has 2 because he had his original 1, and then Sandra gave him 1. Denise had 2, but she did give 1 to Sandra, which ended up going to Yule, which I'm happy about. That's what she gets. And Tyson went from 0 to 1. Sandra went from 0 to 1, but then gave it to Yule, so that didn't last long. Sarah and Rob still have 0, and that is everybody. So in order, let's see if I can eyeball this. We have Natalie and Parvati, Yule and Nick, and then the people with 0 are Parvati, Sandra, Sarah, and Rob, and the rest of everybody else has 1. Is s'mores a survivor food? I think they've done s'mores, yeah. That she knew Rob would be there all along and it's fake bad blood. Yeah. So the secret conspiracy theory that Sandra and Rob are actually working together. Jay! I wonder how peanut butter would taste in s'mores. Probably amazing. Just saw Sandra's IG post, go big or go home. Yeah, exactly. Not really building the relationship trust, right? Yeah. So I guess that you would say that was like her downfall. Was like not building that good relationship with. Yule has 2. So he had his original 1, and then Sandra gave him the one that she got from Denise. So now he has 2. Him and Nick have 2. Nick has 1 that he got from Tyson, which was weird. Because Tyson thought Nick was going home, and then he ended up giving him his... Tyson is like... I do not understand how Tyson plays this game, but he's entertaining to watch. I don't fully understand it, but it is fun to watch him. So I'm going to go now. It actually takes me longer to recap the episode of Survivor live than it does to actually just watch the episode yourself. But come on, this is more fun. Unless you fast forward through the commercials, in which case, then it's definitely much shorter to watch the show. Why did I just make myself sound worse? And fish fillets. What? Peanut butter on fish? All right. My hair is crazy. My makeup is crazy. Everything's crazy right now. You too, Josh. I'll be live again later today. I said that yesterday and then I didn't go live, so we'll see. Tyson is sporadic. Yeah, I agree. All right, I love you guys. This has been A Moment in Time with Taylor. Huge thank you to everyone that makes this channel possible. Big shout out to the top contributor of Super Hearts this broadcast on Periscope, Mr. Kieran, Mr. Popcorn. Thank you, Chip. Thank you, Anne. And Kieran and Chip are both in my private Periscope group, as well as Rhodey. Thanks, guys, for being here. If you want to get in the private Periscope group, you just have to be a monthly recurring supporter at the link in the description. Even if it's $5 a month, it gets you in. So hope to see you in there. This has been A Moment in Time with Taylor. Hope to see you on the next juice. This one. Yeah. That's the wrong button. Okay.